coming to you on Wednesday before Week 10. This is not the weekly podcast. This is the Trade Deadline podcast coming to you live Wednesday night, one day before kickoff on Thursday. Pittsburgh, Carolina. Want to give you a little extra this week. Gonna try to get maybe two podcasts, maybe even a third podcast in this week. Coming up on the Week 10 trade deadline. Want to get on here, talk to you about this week coming in football. The high score of the week, Mr. Paint Ink. Paint Ink represented. Paint Ink, 300 points. High score of the week. Baller, low score of the week. Big Ball, no shot calling. 134, low score of the week. Or maybe it's 143, sorry. Got that backwards. Winging it tonight. Low score of the week. I will get into my picks when I do the weekly podcast this week. This podcast is dedicated to the trade deadline and to talk about trades. So let's go into some information about the league. What everybody wants to hear. First of all, my apologies to the people that watch the podcast. I got a few messages last week saying that the podcast was kind of a downer. I looked really pissed off, and I was pretty heated, and I shouldn't let things like that get to me because people are going to have their opinions about players and trades, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I ain't going to worry about that, and you can call me a trade hustler, whatever you want to be, you know. Just call me Wayne Brady. That's what I am. I'm Wayne Brady, ready to make a deal. So got that out of the way. Let's talk about the trade that went down between Paint Ink and Mr. Nothing But Trouble. What are you doing, Nothing But Trouble? You just gave Paint Ink more firepower. This guy just scored 306 points, and you solved his quarterback issue for Zach Ertz. Are you kidding me? You're kidding me. He's got Patrick Mahomes now and Phyllis Rivers. That's going to improve. He had Matt Stafford and Derek Carr, and he even picked up the San Francisco 49ers quarterback. That's how desperate he was to get another quarterback, and the only thing you were able to acquire from this guy was Zach Ertz and Ridley? Wow. Phyllis Rivers. Price tag was real low. Good steal for Paint Ink. Disgusts me because Paint Ink already has an extremely tough team to beat, to even compete with. The guy was averaging 270 prior to making that trade. You got to think Phyllis Rivers will give him another 15 points, more than Matt Stafford would. So, hey, Wayne, hope that worked out for you. Nothing but trouble. Paint Ink's, good deal. I'm just kind of browsing my phone right now as we speak. Got some trade offers sent out. Got a couple text messages waiting on some replies. Got my phone in hand for the trade deadline. I am looking now on the site to see what all has been offered, anything recently rejected, and doesn't look like anything's been recently rejected. A couple trades were sent out from the Do You Believe in Mag team was revoked. Chaos got some trade, I guess one last gasp of a hustle deal out to Paint Ink. They got properly rejected. It's kind of dead. We do have at least one more day before the trade deadline. Today is Wednesday, so we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and kickoff Sunday before the trade deadline. But keep in mind with Carolina and Pittsburgh playing this week, if you have anybody in that game that you want to trade, they will not go into effect until after the games wrap up on Monday night this week. Le'Veon Bell sent out a tweet. Let's talk about that loser. Le'Veon Bell sent out a tweet saying that he's leaving Miami. Dude, don't come back. Don't come back to Pittsburgh this year and mess up James Conner. James Conner's been a baller. And just I don't know, man. Stay away. Don't come back. Don't sign your franchise tag. Just do what you've been doing. I understand why you ain't playing. I completely agree. Pittsburgh don't ever want to pay anybody unless you're Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. But just stay away and don't come back and mess the mojo up at Pittsburgh. I like what James Conner's got going on. I'm starting to really honestly wonder is, did Le'Veon Bell hurt his stock because he could be just a system running back with James Conner stepping in and showing what he can do. D'Angelo Williams did it a couple years ago, showing he did pretty good when Le'Veon Bell wasn't there. So is he a system running back, or is he really as great as he thinks he is? I don't know. At this point, I'm still lean toward him being great, but I guess we'll have to see him on another team before we make that distinction. Seen a trade offer sent out to Beast Mode from Light My Fire. Maybe it can be responded to. I know I got Playtime is Over's got trade offer out to P&L. A lot of nothing going on right now at the trade deadline. There's been 2 trades made this week. I was thinking that there'd be a couple more. There are some upper echelon teams in this league that are going to be tough to compete with once playoff time comes. Basically, Gotcha Biatch is dead to the world. They haven't made a trade in 2 years, and it doesn't look like they're going to make one. D&Z, their other team, hasn't made a trade, but they were quick to pick up Des Bryant. Hell, I can even barely get a hold of these guys to respond to my messages, let alone get on the site to pick up Des Bryant, who just got re-signed, who got signed today by the Saints. That's a good sign for the Saints. I think they realize playing against the Rams that they're going to need another offensive threat to beat the Rams in another game in the playoffs, because they will probably have Talib back, who's got to be better than Peters, even at the age, even as old as Talib is. He may have a better chance of shutting down Michael Thomas, and they got to figure it out with Kamara because right now they're just dominating, and the Saints look like the team that's going to represent from the NFC this year. So their lineup's stacked. Real quick, I guess, before I get off of this trade cast, Mr. Wayne Brady wants to go over the standings in the AFC West. 6165 show, the Quiet Assassins. Ever since Miggs, team owner Jason Miggs is what I call him, contacted me talking about their team's off to the best start ever. Ain't heard from this guy. This guy is Mr. Missing in action, man. Maybe he decided that he better be quiet, and so his team will start winning again. And that's pretty much what they've done. They've won 3 in a row since then. D&Z still in the hunt, 5-4. 4-5 Mile High Club still in the hunt. 3-6 Oklahoma still in the hunt. AFC East, the GOAT, 7-2, still in the hunt. Or obviously leading the division and the conference, so he's more than in the hunt. The Groovy Newbies, 6-3 in the hunt for both. Sunshine Daydream still in the hunt to make the playoffs. And Fig Jam, 1-8, has been mathematically eliminated. The NFC North, nothing but trouble, 7-2. Just gave Payne Inc., who's 6-3, a firepower quarterback that he's going to have to play coming up. Could be the deciding factor in who wins the division in that game. May have made a mistake. We'll see how that works out. Playtime's over. Fighting for his life at 5-4. Holding on. That was then. This is now. Is not then or now because he's not in the playoffs. He's mathematically eliminated at 1-8. Hardcore 7-2. Let's see. Tied for conference lead. I don't know his head-to-head record with nothing but trouble. So I'll leave that hanging right now. P&L 4-5. Still in the hunt for the playoffs. Total Chaos 3-6. Pretty much has to win out to make the playoffs. The Super Wild Card still is in play. Don't forget about that. So he can still make it, and realistically at 2-7, TNT can still make it as well. So we'll see how that all plays out as the year goes on with the Super Wild Card and the division and the conference winners. The Pro Bowl Conference, we have the best team in the league. For those that's been in the league, it may be hard to believe, but Charles Teague, team owner of Beast Mode, and his nephew is his partner, has the best record in the league at 8-1. He also scores an average of 263 points a game. It's a very tough team to beat. Has not made any trades. You know it's very hard to win this league without making a trade. I think it's only been done once, and I don't think it'll be done again. 8-1, Beast Mode. Congratulations, Charles, representing. Hasn't made a trade. Got some offers. Hadn't really moved on any, but why change what's winning? He's through his bye weeks with his quarterbacks, his top players. He's winning, average of 260. Why change? Want to be like Mike, 5-4, a big win last week over Light My Fire to take a stranglehold on a playoff spot currently. Do you believe in Magic? Fighting for his life. 4-5, was 3-5 last week. Fighting for his life, trying to make it in the playoffs. Doing all he can, contacting, trade, text, whatever, trying to get it done. Team Bohica, without Kirk Cousins this week, had to make a trade to get Aaron Rodgers. He didn't have to get Aaron Rodgers, but he had to make a trade because he only had one quarterback and Kirk Cousins was on bye. That's a big deal. He's 3-6, still fighting for the Super Wild Card, still fighting for the playoffs. He can still make it mathematically. What's crazy about his team is he started off 3-2 and has lost 4 in a row, so he's had some bad breaks. He is averaging 207 points for the week each week, which is the second lowest in the conference. Big ball and shot calling only averages 192. Speaking of big ball and shot callings, 2-7 still technically can make it. The Super Wild Card line's usually around 6-7 or 7-6. He can get to 6-7 if he runs the table. Be a tough task to do, but he can make it. Gotcha Biatch, 3-6 in the Pro Bowl South Conference, Pro Bowl Conference South Division. Gotcha Biatch, 3-6. And can still mathematically make the playoffs. Got a big win last week. Average 218. His team is good. Just hasn't had all the breaks fall his way. Light My Fire, 5-4, has lost 2 in a row, which is shocking to me. The defending champ is reeling. Can he get a victory this week to get back on track? He averages 216 points a week, and he is 5-4 right now, holding on to a playoff spot. And Old Shy Pie, 7-2. Unfortunate loss. I barely pulled out a fluke victory against this guy this week. I mean, it literally came down to the Monday night game, and DeMarcus Lawrence, one stinking tackle would have put me away for the game with Gronk sitting out. And it's just I didn't have a backup. I didn't pick one up because I figured he'd play. He played last week, but I guess his back spasmed, and he couldn't play that week. 7-2, unfortunate loss, or he would be 8-1, tied with Beast Mode. Old Shy Pie averages 254 points a game, and he has a stranglehold on the division lead as well as a playoff spot. So that, my friends, concludes the trade cast. Still looking for deals, Mr. Wayne Brady. Get on the site. Make some trades. Look at your team. Try to get up to par if it ain't ready. Do what you got to do, man. Try to make it. Try to get into the playoffs. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season or where you're technically seated in the playoffs. It matters is what your team can do once they get there. But the key is you got to get there first. I am Wayne Brady Smitty. Let's make a deal.